As we continue our journey of $1,000 investing a week, we're going to get it set up and see exactly where the growth was in the last 7 days. So I know overall, looking at the news, kind of tracking a few things, that the market has been doing exceptionally well. And I believe this is the third week in a row, guys, that we have seen a pretty decent rise in the market. We're going to take a look at our portfolio, really break it down through M1 Finance, which there is a link down below if you want to invest as well. And then looking at the Excel sheet on exactly what we gained this week. So let's hop over to our debt-free journey and see exactly where we're at, guys. So here is the debt-free journey. This is the investing. As you can see, net cash flow, we're still at that 65,000 that we put in here. Current value, however, is at 71,000. So we're going to get this set again for our buy on Monday. So I wanted to cover this today, making sure that we kind of earmark and tab exactly where we're at based on our portfolio right now and looking at where the gains actually came from. So again, current value is 71,369. So overall in this portfolio, guys, our return is 29.21%. Now, I attribute this to the dollar cost averaging that we did. You can see this starting value was September 27th of 2021. Now, overall, during that time, we started doing dollar cost averaging. So we were putting in X amount of dollars every 2 weeks based on pay. Now this, we did change it up a little bit with the borrowing function to see if we could borrow on leverage and actually make a substantial amount over what we're borrowing in addition to what we're able to pay back during the time. So depending on the cash flow, depending on the zero-based budgeting that I use, the ability to repay some of the money that we're borrowing on a weekly basis based on what we're generating from YouTube, my primary job, and then also dividends, anything that we get that we can put into here to continue the investment strategy. We want to get this to about 100,000 at least in the current value. Now, looking at 2022, we're thinking about the last year. Overall, it was a pretty rough year to put it least, where we were seeing about a 22% decline in the market. So even looking at 1 week, guys, so we're up 2.34 in the course of 1 week. That is right. Gain is $1,600 in 1 week, which we did put in $999.99. You can see the buying power right here just gives us the 2 cents. And also within the borrow tab. So this is what we're using, guys. So we are actually going to borrow on margin debt-free journey to the debt-free journey in the amount of 1,000. We are going to do this every week to set our Monday morning buys. So you can see monthly cost is going to be roughly $6 at a 7.25%, which means we have to make over $6, guys. But of course, looking at dividends, looking at a bunch of different factors, we'll see exactly where we are within this journey. So we're going to continue. And there we go. So we are borrowing 1,000 on the debt-free journey. I did have the ability to actually pay back a little bit of this. And you'll notice, guys, what we have borrowed, I repaid $82.98. So first paycheck of the month, we paid all of our bills, paid all of our expenses and everything. We actually had the ability to pay back $82.98, meaning that we only have $917 borrowed plus the 1,000 that we just borrowed today, means that we're going to be at $1917. Now coming up with the second paycheck in YouTube revenue on the 21st, we'll be able to pay back a lot of this debt-free journey. Now, what I'm trying to do with this, guys, is having the ability not only to invest on margin, but it is my personal goal to go ahead and try to repay and invest as soon as possible. So we're looking at a lot of different ways to overall save money. We're cutting out a lot of the expenses. We're cutting out, trips to Dunkin' Donuts, trips to the party store, going to the gas station, stopping and getting drinks, and a lot of other things. We are cutting out of this portfolio to try to go ahead and repay as much as possible. So looking here, that takes our buying power up to our $1,000, which means tomorrow morning, and you'll see we have 3 buys right here based on 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. So tomorrow the market is going to open. We're going to do our buys, and you can see that we're catching up leverage-wise. So I had been investing in the VOO for a considerable amount of time, and you can see dollar cost averaging, even looking at last year, guys, 29.62, almost a 30% return right there. Started putting it into the SCHD, the VUG, and then the QQQM, because it does have a lower expense ratio. But overall, guys, you can see kind of where the returns and where the gains have come from. Now, I have taken kind of different positions and moved some of the funds around, but let's take a look at what it looks like over that entirety in its past week. So this is the spreadsheet we made last week. And again, I wanted to cover this every single week. So marginal trading. So tomorrow we're going to put our $1,000 in. But as we sit as today, guys, return 29.21. So as you can see right there, about a 7% return that we have seen in the past 7 days. So roughly 1%. Net cash flow stays the exact same, which this, of course, is going to change coming into next week because we just moved our $1,000 in. So the market gain overall 66.95, as you can see. Dividends remain stagnant. So all of them do pay quarterly dividends, which means at the end of December, we're going to see a pretty good dividend increase because with the $1,000 we're putting in there, we're actually buying more shares of the portfolio we have. So continuing to invest in that portfolio is going to give us more shares. More shares, of course, is going to yield us a greater dividend yield on those, or the same dividend yield, just owning more to get more dividends. Now that did take our balance to 71,369.14. So in the course of a last week, borrowing $1,000 to put into the portfolio, balance difference is $1,633.60, guys. Now, when you kind of think about that, so borrowing that $1,000 made me pay probably about $6 a month to borrow that $1,000. Now, if I would have not borrowed that $1,000, I would not have made $1,600 in the market, which is kind of crazy. And you can see where the gains came from, guys. The VOO had a significant increase right there. The QQQM went from $50 to $73. And I'm not doing the percentages. I'm not doing the yield. I am doing the overall portfolio value of what it would increase. So the VOG, you can see a little tiny increase in the VOG, and then the SCHD was at 161, and that actually went to right there 189.65. Again, I am just doing the percentages, so 189.65. Or no, we're doing the dollars. I'm not doing the percentages. So where are we at dollar-wise? Dollar-wise for the SCHD, yeah, sorry, was 189.65. That is correct. The 189.65. So again, looking at that, 189.65. Boom. So the SCHD did go up quite a bit. Again, I'm looking at the overall value because once we have the dividends come in and everything else, the dividends will automatically post. The dividends will be reinvested, guys. Every single penny that we get in this portfolio, I'm taking the dividends, I am investing them, and then $1,000 every single week. So again, for 11/20. So actually tomorrow we already have our $1,000 ready and set to invest in the portfolio. It is going to be automated again every single week. So I'm going to hop on Sundays, get ready for our buy on Monday morning with our $1,000 and see exactly and track over the course of hopefully based on what we can repay, based on what we can borrow, getting about the next 52 weeks or year of the returns that we actually get in here. And again, looking at our cash flow 65. So next week, it should be 66,432 or right around there, depending on the rounding with the pennies, seeing where the market gains. If we have a really rough week in the market, that could absolutely just crush our cash flow. But you can see, guys, in the week, we made $1,633.60. So essentially, if we took our portfolio, sold the entire portfolio, gave our $1,000 back, essentially what we did borrow, we would have still made $633.60 this week based on the market gains that we did see. So really cool to see. And I'm loving this, guys. I'm, again, trying to get to the point where we can invest every single week with my repayment strategy through the borrowing function, but making sure every Monday morning we have $1,000 that is going to be set to be invested in the market. So again, guys, last week was a super, super strong week in the market, as you can see right here on the returns. But that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the strategy. And as always, thank you guys for watching.